Agreed.
All right, we've actually got a clip from yesterday's FC show, probably the one that we weren't on, Craig, but we'll see. It is looking back on the US's loss to the Netherlands. This is what the guys had to say about Berhalter.
Knowing Gregg the way I know Gregg, I could see him looking at Jesse Marsch and going, yeah, I might like a little bit of that. And I know he had his opportunity in Sweden. It didn't quite work out, and I'm sure he'd love to go back to Europe and see if he can to make it happen. But in the end, there's only so much you can do, and somebody has to be phoning you and saying, hey, we want you to coach our team. So. I'm sure Gregg will look at whatever options come his way, and I personally, I know some of the fans are a little bit frustrated, but again, I'll reiterate: you had 2 goals, you achieved both those goals. I don't know what more a coach can do.
Casey Keller, who was in the same team as Gregg Berhalter when they actually did have that decent run and went one stage further than his team did this time. Time's up then for him, Craig. You think he will be moving on to a job in Europe?
I don't know, and I have to tell you, and I never heard a word of that clip, and I presume Casey was not miming because his lips were moving, and I tried to get the Highland Cow to listen in, but even the Highland Cow
wouldn't listen.
I couldn't hear a bloody thing, so I've no idea what Casey was saying. But
no worries.
I don't know. I mean, I've heard different perspectives about Berhalter wants to be on the training pitch on a more regular basis, which he can't do as an international manager. I've not seen anybody really suggest he should be fired. I mean, US got out the group with a young side, made some mistakes, played some good stuff over the piece, had some really good performers. The Gioreno thing will continue to raise its head. The striking decisions, the personnel decisions made up front, I suppose, would be something you could throw at him. The squad imbalance with not having enough strikers maybe on the roster and leaving maybe a Ricardo Pepe out as well. It's maybe not the greatest front line ever, but it's extra bodies. There are question marks there, but yeah, I think it would be Berhalter's decision. I don't foresee the US Soccer Federation making any, knee-jerk reactions here. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it was a disaster for them at all. I just think in the end they made some bad mistakes against a much more experienced Holland side who are happy to sit in and lure them in. And I think if the US could have their day back, they would probably do it differently. But that's the Monday morning quarterback. It's how they analyse it. And I just get a feeling over here, we're going to be talking about this for a while because it just seems no matter what game's on, the US team and their exit seems to rear its head. It's unfortunate, but I suppose it's the world that we live in.
Gab, do you have time to give us your answer on this, or do you only have time to wait to hear Craig moo like a Highland Cow?
No, I do need to bounce because somebody very important is calling me in a few minutes. But
more important than us.
Sorry?
More important than us. Is it one of your FIFA friends?
Could be. Watch this space. No, I kind of find some of this, the discussion around Gregg. I mean, as somebody who's bound to be cynical whenever contracts expire, this idea that he might go manage a club side. Maybe he's tired. He wants, he wants to have another go in Europe, as Casey alluded to. If I'm Gregg, that's what I want people to think, that I have lots of people coming up. Like, Jesse Marsch managed in the Champions League for Salzburg, but still, it's the Champions League, and was an assistant at Leipzig. Europe, if you're talking about a Big Five team, they look at this sort of thing before giving you a shot, the way Leeds United did. I'm not sure Gregg is in that position. Personally, I think he should continue with the U.S. team. I'm kind of flabbergasted, and I don't know if it's like the U.S. soccer community or if it's Muppets who just tune in for the World Cup, who thought that they should go and beat Holland and view this as some kind of disappointment. And it's not a perfect game, but my goodness, like, look at these players. Look at where they are. Look how young they are. He had the youngest team in the World Cup. This is a journey that they're on. And I think he's done He's done a very good job. I don't know whatever else he could have done differently. We don't know what's up with Gio Reyna. Maybe one day, I suspect very soon, we'll find out. But, the reality is this is the kind of coach I think that you want coaching your national team. And I think it would be disappointing and a mistake if the U.S. Federation goes in a different direction at this stage.
It's one of the things regarding the US that's always been a little bit of a bugbear for mine, and I think a lot of people over here take it the wrong way. And quite frankly, I couldn't give a stuff. But it's like going back to Gab's point there about, I think there are a lot of educated soccer fans in the United States, and that grows by the day, by the week, by the year. And I think for the most part, they understand the whys and the where-nots and the complications and the tactics and the experience of other sides. And then you have the casual fan who sort of jumps on now and again and then is absolutely dumbfounded when results don't come. But this narrative that they have been feasting on comes from certain people in this country who bash that nonsense down their throats. And so they're feeding on this, the US should be doing this, the US should be doing that, Gregg Berhalter should be doing this, Bruce Arena should have done this. And all along, the reality is completely different. And that goes down to the spoon feeding a lot of these casual fans are getting by some of the US pundits. And I've said that for many a day. And so the expectations far outweigh the realization about where they are. And where they are is actually in a pretty decent place with these young players. And so, I think that's the problem that's never going to go away. When the casual fan comes on board, he's probably heard one or two Muppets in the media try to tell them that the US are going to be close to winning the World Cup. And guess what? In 4 years' time, they'll be telling them the same thing. And the reality is, it's probably just not going to happen.
Most importantly, to wrap everything up before Gab goes, Craig, I need to hear that moo, right now.
After slandering some US pundits, we're now going to go out this show with an amazing, and this will not damage your credibility whatsoever.
It was all right. 6 out of 10, I think I give it.
He said y'all as well. So he actually is practically an American now. Anyway, yeah. The Highland Cow, welcome to the show. Craig Burley, it was great to have you on. We'll let you guys go. Marcotti will let you go speak to your VIP friends at FIFA.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.